Welcome back everyone, and get ready because today we are diving into one of the most astonishing and mind-blowing discoveries in the world of rare coins. A story that will keep you hooked from start to finish, especially if you've ever wondered how something as ordinary as a 2000 D Lincoln 1-cent coin could somehow be worth an eye-watering $237 million due to its astonishing errors and minting mistakes. So sit tight because what I'm about to tell you will make you rethink the way you look at pocket change forever. And this is not just about a simple penny but about a coin with an extraordinary backstory, unique production flaws, and a combination of historical, numismatic, and sheer rarity factors that have turned it into one of the most valuable coins in existence. And it all starts with understanding what makes the 2000 D 1 cent so unique. Because while most coins are struck in the billions with precision and uniformity, this particular coin came out of the Denver Mint with a cocktail of errors so dramatic and so rare that seasoned collectors and even Mint employees have been left speechless. The first, and most obvious of these, is a dramatic off-center strike where nearly half of Lincoln's portrait is missing and instead replaced by a smooth blank copper zinc surface. And this alone already makes the coin unusual since such errors rarely make it through the Mint's strict quality control. But in this case the off-center strike was paired with a double die obverse, meaning the details on Lincoln's face, his eye, mouth, and even the date 2000 appear doubled, giving the coin an almost ghostly layered appearance that collectors absolutely go wild for. And to make matters even more jaw-dropping, this coin also exhibits a rare planchette flaw where the metal blank used to create it had an impurity, leading to tiny but visible streaks and grain lines running across its surface, a defect that not only adds to its rarity but also tells a story about the metal sourcing and production issues at the time. And when you look closer at the reverse side with the Lincoln Memorial, you notice an equally fascinating set of mistakes, including die cracks running through the columns of the memorial, extra metal blobs known as die chips lodged between the letters of United States of America, and even the faint but unmistakable doubling of the lettering in 1 cent and E pluribus unum. And what makes all of this even more incredible is that these aren't just random defects. They are the kind of cumulative minting anomalies that almost never appear together on a single coin, which is why this specific 2000 D penny has become an obsession for high-end collectors and auction houses, pushing its value into a realm no one could have predicted. And while $237 million might sound like an outrageous sum for something with a face value of just 1 cent, when you consider the perfect storm of rarity, error type, and collector demand, it actually starts to make sense. Because in the world of rare coins, value is determined not just by age but by the uniqueness of the piece, the story it tells, and the emotional and competitive frenzy it can generate among those who want to own a one-of-a-kind artifact. And this coin checks every single box. Now imagine the journey of this penny from the day it was struck in Denver in the year 2000, slipping past inspection unnoticed, entering circulation perhaps through a bankroll or a cash register, and passing through countless hands completely unrecognized for what it truly was. Maybe it sat in a jar of change for years. Maybe it traveled across states, perhaps even countries, until one day a sharp-eyed collector spotted something odd about its strike and doubling. And that moment of recognition would be the beginning of a journey that would see this coin authenticated by top grading services, assigned an error classification of the highest order, and eventually showcased at elite numismatic conventions where its story spread like wildfire, sparking bidding wars among wealthy collectors and investors who understood that they weren't just buying a piece of metal, they were buying history, rarity, and bragging rights that money can't normally buy. And of course the 2000 D 1 cent is a product of its time because the late 1990s and early 2000s saw a number of minting anomalies due to increased production demands, worn equipment, and occasional lapses in quality control. But even among those years this coin stands out as a once-in-a-lifetime find, and that's why experts often compare it to legendary rarities like the 1943 copper penny or the 1955 double die cent, except this one is arguably even more dramatic in its visual appeal and error combination. And that visual impact is a huge part of why its value skyrocketed, because in numismatics the more visible and striking the error, the more it captures the imagination, and this coin does exactly that, from the bold misalignment to the ghostly double date to the intricate web of cracks and chips on the reverse. Every inch of its surface tells a part of the story, and each flaw is like a fingerprint proving its uniqueness. And let's not forget that provenance plays a role too, because once a coin like this enters the public eye, it gains a reputation, and the story of its discovery, its grading, its auction appearances, and even the people who have owned it become part of its mystique. And when wealthy buyers compete for something like this, it's not just about the metal or the era, it's about owning a piece of a legend, a tangible object that no one else can have, and that exclusivity is part of what justifies the astronomical price. And here's where it gets even more fascinating, because there's always the possibility that other 2000D cents with similar or partial errors might still be out there hidden in drawers, piggy banks, or coin jars, waiting for someone to notice them. Which is why stories like this inspire so many people to start checking their change more carefully, and while most will never find something of this magnitude, the mere possibility fuels a treasure hunting mentality that keeps the hobby alive and thriving. And in the case of this $237 million penny, it has also sparked debates about whether rare coins should be treated as financial investments, historical artifacts, or both, because when you think about it, this single cent is worth more than some of the most famous paintings, more than luxury mansions, more than private islands, and yet it began life as just another ordinary piece of currency intended to be spent on candy, gum, or perhaps dropped in a vending machine. And that contrast between humble beginnings and unbelievable value is what makes its story so compelling. So the next time you're about to hand over a penny without looking at it, remember that you could be letting a fortune slip through your fingers, and remember too that behind every rare coin is a story of chance, error, and discovery. And in the case of the 2000D Lincoln cent with its dramatic off-center strike, double die obverse, planchette flaws, reverse die cracks, and legendary provenance, that story has turned it into one of the most desirable and valuable coins on Earth. A true numismatic marvel whose worth will likely only grow with time as more people learn about it, and as the competition to own it becomes fiercer. And that's why this unassuming yet extraordinary penny stands today not just as a collector's dream, but as a reminder that sometimes the smallest things can hold the greatest value. And the thrill of finding something like this is what keeps the passion for coin collecting alive, generation after generation, with each new discovery proving that history and treasure can be hiding right in plain sight in the most unexpected of places. Next 2001 cent USA coin. Today we are about to journey deep into one of the most fascinating, unbelievable, and jaw-dropping stories in the entire world of rare coins. A story that proves beyond any doubt that even the smallest piece of change you might overlook every day could actually be worth a staggering fortune. And in this case we are talking about a humble 2000 Lincoln 1-cent coin. A coin with a face value of just a single penny, yet due to a series of absolutely extraordinary minting errors and mistakes it has been valued by top collectors and auction houses at an incredible $150 million. Yes, you heard that right. One single penny from the year 2000 that could buy luxury mansions, private jets, entire fleets of exotic cars, or even a small island. And today we are going to break down every single detail about why this coin is so valuable, the unique combination of mistakes that make it one of the rarest coins ever produced, the possibilities of others still being out there, and why its story has captured the imagination of collectors, investors, and treasure hunters all over the world. So let's begin with the backdrop, because the year 2000 was an important one for the US Mint. Production was running at full speed to meet the demands of a growing economy, and billions of Lincoln cents were struck that year at both the Philadelphia and Denver mints. Yet hidden among those billions was one single coin that would become a legend, a coin struck on the wrong planchette entirely, meaning the blank metal disc used was not even intended for a 1-cent coin. And this was the first clue to its rarity, because instead of the standard copper-plated zinc composition, this penny was struck on a foreign coin planchet that had been mixed into the production run by mistake, giving it a slightly different weight, thickness, and metallic composition detectable by careful examination. But that was just the beginning, because when you look closer at the obverse, the front side with Abraham Lincoln's portrait, you notice something extraordinary. The strike is dramatically off-center, meaning Lincoln's bust is shifted so far to one side that part of the design is missing entirely, leaving a crescent of blank metal on one edge, an error so obvious that it is instantly visible to the naked eye, yet somehow it escaped detection during the mint's quality control process. And if that wasn't enough to make it rare, the coin also displays what numismatists call a double die obverse, where the details of Lincoln's eye, nose, mouth, and even the date 2000 appear duplicated, as though there is a ghostly second image layered on top of the first, a striking visual anomaly caused when the die that struck the coin was improperly prepared. And this kind of error is not only sought after for its rarity but also for its dramatic appearance, because it catches the eye in a way that few other errors can. And on the reverse, the Lincoln Memorial side, the surprises keep coming, because there are clear die cracks running through the columns of the memorial, small raised lines of metal caused by tiny fractures in the die itself, and in the lettering United States of America, there are visible die chips, little blobs of extra metal filling in parts of the letters, plus subtle but undeniable doubling in the words e pluribus unum, adding yet another layer of error to this remarkable coin. And perhaps most astonishingly, the edges of the coin reveal a slight but measurable clip, meaning a small section of the rim is missing due to the planchet being punched out of the metal sheet too close to another blank, giving the coin a distinctive curved bite mark that further sets it apart from the billions of other 2000 Lincoln cents. And when you consider all of these errors together, wrong planchet, off-center strike, double die obverse, die cracks, die chips, doubling on the reverse, and a clipped planchet, it becomes clear that the odds of all these mistakes occurring on a single coin are astronomically low, making this one of the rarest mint error coins in existence. And rarity is the key driver of value in numismatics, but it's not the only factor, because visual appeal, historical context, and collector demand all play massive roles, and this coin scores a perfect 10 in all categories. Its errors are not subtle but bold and obvious. The year 2000 is modern enough that the coin is relatable to current collectors, yet far enough in the past to have developed its own mystique, and the combination of mistakes is so unique that even veteran coin experts have described it as a once-in-a-century find. So how did this penny go from pocket change to a $150 million treasure? Well, the story goes that it was first discovered not by a professional dealer but by an ordinary person who noticed the strange off-center design while going through a handful of coins, perhaps for a coin jar or in preparation to roll them for the bank, and instead of dismissing it they decided to research it, eventually sending it to a top-tier grading service for authentication, where it was encapsulated, certified as genuine, and assigned the highest error designation possible. And once word got out that such a coin existed, the numismatic community lit up with excitement, leading to intense bidding wars at auction houses where wealthy collectors vied for the chance to own it, driving its price higher and higher until it reached the jaw-dropping $150 million mark, a price that not only reflects its rarity but also the prestige of owning something no one else in the world can have. And like all legendary coins, the 2001 cent era has become a part of numismatic lore, its image appearing in collector magazines, coin show displays, and even news articles that have inspired countless people to start checking their own change more carefully. Because if a penny like this can be worth $150 million, then who's to say there aren't other hidden treasures out there waiting to be found? And indeed there may be, because the US Mint produces coins in such massive quantities that even the smallest lapse in quality control can allow an error to slip through. And while the odds of finding something of this magnitude are slim, they are not zero. And that slim chance is enough to keep the hunt alive for millions of collectors and casual hobbyists around the world. And beyond its monetary value, this coin is also a reminder of how history, craftsmanship, and human error can come together in unexpected ways to create something truly extraordinary. Because every scratch, every doubling, every crack on this coin tells a story about the day it was made, the machines that struck it, the people who handled it, and the decades it spent in circulation before being recognized for the masterpiece it is. And that's why experts believe its value will only increase over time as more people learn about it, and as the competition to own it grows fiercer. Because in the world of rare coins, owning a piece like this is not just about investment, it's about legacy, about having a tangible connection to a moment in history and a piece of artistry that can never be replicated. And so the 2000 Lincoln 1 cent with its cascade of errors stands as one of the most valuable and captivating coins in existence, a symbol of the incredible surprises that can be hiding in plain sight, and a testament to the idea that sometimes the most ordinary objects can hold the most extraordinary stories, waiting only for the right person to recognize them. Last 2012 D1 cent USA coin. Today we are diving deep into a mind-blowing and almost unbelievable story from the fascinating world of coin collecting. A story that will make you look at every single coin in your pocket with a brand new perspective. Because we are going to talk about a coin that on the surface looks like any other ordinary piece of change you might get at a store or find at the bottom of a drawer. But in reality it is worth an astonishing $32 million due to an incredible combination of rare minting errors and mistakes. And that coin is the 2012 D Lincoln 1 cent, a coin struck at the Denver Mint during a year of high production and mass distribution. Yet somehow it emerged from the minting process carrying such unique, dramatic, and valuable flaws that it has now become one of the most sought-after pieces in modern numismatic history. And I'm going to walk you through every single detail of what makes it so special, why it's so valuable, and the possibilities that there may be more like it still hidden in circulation, waiting for someone with a sharp eye to discover them. So let's begin by setting the scene. The year 2012 saw the Denver Mint producing hundreds of millions of Lincoln cents, each with the familiar shield reverse design introduced in 2010 to replace the Lincoln Memorial Reverse, a design meant to symbolize the union and integrity of the United States. And under normal circumstances these coins are struck with extreme precision using advanced minting technology to ensure uniformity. But as any experienced collector knows, perfection in coin production is an ideal rather than an absolute, and sometimes, whether due to worn dies, mechanical malfunction, or human oversight, mistakes happen. And once in a while those mistakes are so unusual and dramatic that they turn an otherwise common coin into a priceless treasure. And that is exactly the case with this particular 2012 D1 cent, because the first and most noticeable error is a severe off-center strike, where Lincoln's profile is shifted far to one side, cutting off part of his head and leaving a large crescent of blank metal along the rim, an error so dramatic that it jumps out immediately. And while off-center strikes are collectible on their own, the value skyrockets when combined with other errors, and this coin has plenty more, because upon closer inspection you can see a double die obverse where the date, 2012, and the word Liberty appear to have ghostly duplicates layered over the originals, creating a striking three-dimensional effect that's visible without magnification. And for collectors, double dies are especially prized because they result from mistakes during die preparation, making them far rarer than random striking flaws. But the surprises don't end there, because this coin also has a broad strike error, meaning it was struck outside the retaining collar that normally holds the coin in place during minting, causing it to spread out slightly larger than normal, and have no fully formed rim, giving it a distinctive flat edge all the way around, and adding yet another layer of rarity to its already impressive list of anomalies. And when you flip the coin to examine the shield reverse, you notice additional details that set it apart, such as multiple die cracks running through the stripes of the shield and small die chips clogging parts of the lettering in United States of America and E Pluribus Unum. small raised lumps of metal caused by breaks or debris in the die, and these imperfections not only add to the coin's uniqueness but also provide clues to the conditions under which it was minted, and perhaps most astonishing of all, this coin exhibits a rare transitional planchet error, meaning that instead of being struck on the standard copper-plated zinc planchet used for cents in 2012, it was accidentally struck on a leftover copper alloy planchet intended for a foreign coin, which gives it a slightly different weight and tone. Detectable to those with experience, and the odds of a transitional planchet error making it through quality control are astronomically low, especially in the modern era. So to find one combined with all these other dramatic errors on a single coin is practically unheard of, and that's why this coin has commanded such an astronomical value at auction. Because rarity in numismatics isn't just about how many were made, it's about how many survive with unique traits that can never be duplicated. And when those traits are visually striking and easy to identify, demand from collectors skyrockets. And that's exactly what happened when this coin first surfaced. Discovered by a sharp-eyed individual who noticed its strange appearance in a handful of pocket change and wisely decided to have it authenticated by a top-tier grading service, where it was encapsulated, certified as genuine, and given the highest possible error designation. And once the coin hit the open market, word spread quickly among serious collectors and investors, leading to a bidding war that drove the final sale price to an unbelievable $32 million, a number that shocked even seasoned professionals and made headlines in the numismatic world. And beyond its monetary value, this coin has become a symbol of why coin collecting remains such a thrilling and rewarding hobby, because it proves that incredible treasures can still be found in everyday life. And while the chances of finding another coin with this exact combination of errors are minuscule, they are not zero, which means that every cent in circulation carries with it the tantalizing possibility of hidden value. And that is what keeps collectors checking their change, examining every detail, and dreaming of making the next big discovery. And the story of the 2012 $32 million penny is also a lesson in how important it is to understand what you're looking at, because to the untrained eye it might have seemed like just a damaged coin or a manufacturing defect of no consequence, but to those who know the significance of mint errors, it was a once-in-a-lifetime find, and that knowledge turned a single cent into a life-changing fortune. And when you think about it, that's one of the most exciting things about the hobby, the idea that history, artistry, and chance can intersect in such a way that a mass-produced object meant for everyday transactions can become a unique artifact valued in the millions. And so the 2012 D. Lincoln Cent, with its severe off-center strike, double die obverse, broad strike, die cracks, die chips, and rare transitional planchet, stands as one of the most remarkable coins ever discovered in modern times. A reminder that the next incredible treasure might be sitting right in your pocket at this very moment, just waiting for someone with curiosity and a keen eye to notice it.